This edition of the Random Rambles with Rob podcast has been brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped, offering you precision engineered tools for your family jewels. The Manscaped engineering team has spent over 18 months perfecting their greatest ball hair trimmer ever. They obsess over their technology and developments to provide you with the best tools for your grooming experience. Try the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. Their third generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com and get 20% off your order plus free shipping when you use promo code RANDOM.
Here we go. You are now listening to Random Ramblings with Rob. Yay! Yeah!
This is the anthem, you ready for some random shit from Rob? Now everybody stand up and lift your arms. Put your hands in the sky like you're pinching stars. Go piss on Mars! What? It's so random, it's all gravy. The podcast is Rob, yeah, go crazy. Yup.
And all kind of shit like that.
That's what Rob says when he runs off track. Fun fact, tuck that in your brain. Fuck that, nutsacks react insane. In the fast lane, still smooth like butter. Rob, dude, you one cool ass brother.
Motherfucker.
You might hear that about every other word, but who's keeping count? The ramblings get so random, what's happening? I'm babbling so much you can't handle me. Chattering teeth, sound like a battle axe bashing the beat. Don't laugh when I speak, cause really, we're just some idiots. I ain't talking about a little bit, I'm talking fully illiterate. Like little kids trapped in a grown man's body. Acting a fool like Lindsay Lohan party. Like it's a party of life, we party all night. Blackout, that's how we party it right. Hit the Walmart cause we bored as shit. Instagram and upload the vid. look at Rob hanging out in the Walmart for no reason, just Instagramming. He got his phone out, walking around looking at himself like, hey, look at me, I'm walking through Walmart. It's so random, Rob. It's so random, but that's what we love. Random ramblings with Rob. Random ramblings.
Motherfucking,
Random
freaking
ramblings.
motherfucking,
Random
freaking
ramblings. Random ramblings. Random ramblings. Blah 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 blah.
What up, everybody? This your boy B Rob, and I'm back with another edition of the Random Rambles with Rob podcast. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you, the listener, for coming back each and every week, or however you listen to podcasts. If you're a first-time listener, I'd like to thank you oh so much for giving my show a try. And if you're in the vicinity of the person that recommended you to me safely, sanitized before and after, reach over and give them a crisp high five. But if you want to be a little more socially conscious and safe, go ahead and take your social media app of choice and craft them a well-thought-out DM telling them thank you for recommending you to me. Speaking of social media, you can find the Random Rambles with Rob on various social media platforms, to include Twitter at 3R Show, Instagram at The 3R Show, twitch.tv/3R Show. There's some video content on YouTube. Search 3R Show. And for anything that I may have forgot to mention, oh man, I stumbled on that. But whatever I forgot to say, you can go to randomrob.com. And that is randomrob.com, to where you can find all my social media, all the episodes for this podcast, and Wrestling is Trash, and whatever have you. Merchandise, all that stuff can be found on randomrob.com. All right. So we in 2021. It's almost February. We're almost 2 months in. And I had to have somebody put that in perspective for me. I think it was Friday. I was at work, and our building is partially closed. So people that would come there normally when we were fully functional to do their business, they do it all via the telephone now. And there's information plastered on the door because there was no notice or anything pushed through the court system saying that, hey, you don't have to come to the building, just take this number down and you can do all your things from home over the phone. There was nothing pushed out that way. So people had to come from far and wide to the facility to read a sign on the door saying that they're closed and they can go home and call in and do their business over the phone. So the wordage on the sign is not very well written. So I often find myself and my coworkers going out to tell the people, hey, the building is closed. Just take these numbers down and call from your home, and they'll give you instruction from there. So someone came and they took down the numbers, and they did not go home and call. They called in front of the building thinking somebody was going to come outside and, tend to their needs, which that is not the case. So they knocked on the door hard, vigorously, loud, multiple times, even though all the doors are locked and not very many cars are there, to indicate that the building, yes, is closed. Even the signage on it says closed. But they still have to try, because I understand they don't want to get in trouble. They're there to do what they were told to do by a judge. So they don't want to get in trouble. I can understand the feeling. So go out there and be like, hey, you're here to do X, Y, Z? It's like, yes, I am here to do X, Y, and Z. But I read the paper and I called the numbers and nobody's answering. Well, there's a lot of things going on. They're working with a limited staff, and a lot of people is trying to call to get their business done just like you. So just take down the numbers, call Monday through Friday, 8 to 3. And as long as you talk to somebody, you won't have any problems. And it was like, so when are you going to be open again? I was like, I do not know. I have not a clue. If you talk to somebody on that number that's on the paper, when you call, you can ask them that, and they can probably give you better guidance than I have. I said, the building has been closed since March. And when I say those words a lot to people, not even thinking that I'm talking about March of 2020. It's January, almost February of 2021. So, because I do this every day, I do it multiple times a day, that didn't register to me in the moment. So I told the guy that, I was like, hey, the building's been closed since March. This is how everything has been getting done since March. He was like, you mean March of last year? And I paused, because I was like, you mean I've been doing this for a year almost already, telling these people that, hey, you can do this from home? And it became a routine, for over a year. Well, not over a year yet, but almost a year that I've been telling people, hey, the building is closed. You can report in from home. And I was just like, wow, it just dawned on me that we've been in this situation for better part of a year almost. And it's just crazy. Just starting to get the vaccine out there. And, I don't know. It's just mind-boggling to me how quickly time passes. And, it probably passed faster a little bit for me, because I'm one of the fortunate ones to be essential and still being out there to work. But for the people that's not that fortunate, that are just sitting home and are doing whatever else, is just, time has probably went so slow, and that makes me feel bad. But we'll get through it. It just is what it is. I just wanted to put that out there, because that was just like, wow, it's almost been a year of this and everything. But in reference to this episode, I was fortunate enough to be a guest on my homeboy Joshie Lopez. I got to be podcast with him for a little bit. He invited me on this little side project to where we just shoot the shit. It wound up turning into a professional wrestling podcast, because that's something that we enjoy, very passionate about. And I think I told him, or it was the other show that I guested on not too long ago, the Heels, Pops, and Chair Shots podcast. I found out that I really enjoy professional wrestling, but I don't love it. I've seen people who love professional wrestling, and I'm not on that level. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy interacting with people who also enjoy professional wrestling. I like talking about it and everything, but I've seen people who love professional wrestling. I mean, foregoing, meals and, financial shit to see their favorite professional wrestler. I mean, I've seen somebody not buy food because they want to pay that money for a meet and greet to see their favorite professional wrestler. And that is love, sir. I ain't missing no meals to meet somebody I really enjoy watching on TV. You know, I ain't about that life. I ain't about to skip no bills or nothing to go to an event to see my favorite wrestler. Nah, we ain't having that, player. But got to talk with the man Josh. This episode came out, I think, last week or the week before. Time is working different for me. I told you, I just realized that I've been in a building that is closed and giving these instructions for almost a year now. So, I mean, if it came out last week or the week before, I just don't recall. I mean, everything is moving very, very rapidly for me. But we shoot the shit, and that's what I bring to you today. All my social media and all my jabber jagging is going to be inside of this episode. So, without further ado, it's just me and Josh Lopez shooting the shit. Hope you enjoy. Be safe out there. Year is gonna come 2023 and I'm gonna be like, what the fuck happened? But enjoy the episode and I'll see you next time.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what in the blue hell to call this, but this is a extension of the Hoots podcast. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekends, if you will, as Dusty Rhodes would say. It's truly the nefarious brother Adam. You can follow me on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast. I'm also on Instagram at Joshie Lopez 94. If you want to see me do some cool guitar covers as well, check out at Josh Lopez Music. In the next coming weeks, I don't know if I'll do this every week, but every other week or maybe a monthly special. I'm bringing back a lot of good brothers and really close friends of mine to come on here and just basically shoot the shit. The inception of the Hoots podcast was actually something that me and Adam did before we joined together. And we called it Shooting the Shit. It's on the YouTube channel. You guys could go find it back in the day. But
Revive it.
Yeah, so 5 years later, man, we've got the Hoots podcast, and I think an unsung hero of this show and a guy that played a pivotal role in my media career is joining me today, the master of the random brand, Random Roblings with B-Rob, our show, Wrestling is Trash, God knows what else. One of the most funniest and most genuine guys I ever met in my life. B-Rob, what's up, man?
Man, a whole bunch of nothing. Glad I finally made it over here because I know Matt been over here like 3 or 4 times and shit, and here I am just making it's 2021. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, you do your
I'm messing
you
around.
do your regular people job shifts. That's why.
Yeah, you are correct. I am fortunate and unfortunate enough to be essential.
Tell me, how's things going on with Walmart?
Oh, it's still in disarray. You know, I can't never find the same shit in the same aisle twice. So, I mean, it is what it is. I found a lot of interesting life choices have been made within the hollow halls of Walmart, especially when you go down the alcohol aisle. You get to see, you know, people chose food, you know, chose alcohol rather than food. You see them, you go down the alcohol aisle. Because, I partake. I like to get a bottle of wine to share with Mrs. B. Rob or whatnot. Right. And I go down there, got a whole beef butt just sitting in there or whatever. Somebody literally went to the meat aisle, grabbed this whole big half-pound fucking butt roast, walked all the way to the liquor aisle with it, looked around, said, fuck this, I'm getting me a 6-pack. Put it down, left it there, and just grabbed a 6-pack and go. I mean, that's the highlight of my trip when I go to Walmart, to see what people left in the liquor aisle, to see what decisions and choices they made with their life.
I know there was a big trend once this pandemic first started about people trampling over each other with paper towels and a bunch of shit. Has anything new come up since I don't know if you would call any evolution of this shit. I mean, we still don't know who to trust as far as vaccines are concerned, but you notice any other trends as far as people and how they handle themselves at these stores?
That initial push when that happened or whatnot, when all the toilet paper and everything was scarce and everything, that was only the really one time that I could really recall it being that bad. But it's been regularly replenishing now since time has passed and whatnot. And the only thing that's not normal within the walls of Walmart is they don't have the freaking Clorox wipes no more. It's so much so that they can't get a supply of it in regularly that Walmart been manufacturing their own shit pretty much. So, I mean, why not cut out the middleman when you can just make your own stuff? They've been making their own sanitizer. They've been making their own sanitation wipes and Clorox wipes type things and everything. So, I mean, it's not short on nothing. I can go right now and get a bundle of toilet paper, paper towels right now if I wanted to, and baby wipes, because you should be wiping your ass with baby wipes.
Correct.
The only reason you need toilet paper is like to get the excess or whatever. You know, you clean up in there real good. If you don't like a damp booty hole or damp cheeks, get some toilet paper and get that excess out of there, and there you go.
Oh man.
Man, what do you think about a bidet?
Huh?
What do you think about bidets?
No comment.
I don't know, man. I don't know, because I mean, I wasn't always a baby wipe guy. So, I mean, I made that transition from straight toilet paper to baby wipes. And then, you know, I kind of, like I said, the combo method or whatever. I use the wipes to get all the stuff out of there. Then I get the toilet paper excess.
I'm for sure that some people enjoy that, but that's their prerogative if that's the route they want to
clean
go.
Booty hole, man. I don't know. It's just,
Right.
I don't know. There's a lot of stigma and stereotypes and all kinds of, oh man, you a certain type of way because you use a bidet or whatever. Oh man, you a man, you ain't supposed to have no water on your booty hole. But how you clean your booty hole? With soap and water. It's just water cleaning your booty hole. I mean, I haven't pulled the trigger on it, but I've been contemplating it in my mind, because it's just like, I thought the same way about baby wipes. I was like, man, I'm a grown ass man. I ain't gonna be wiping my stuff with something that say baby in it. It say baby. It say baby wipes. It's for babies. I'm a man. God damn it. And then I wiped my ass with some baby wipes in the where was I? I think I went on a field op. I was still in the military, and we didn't have no toilet paper. Dude was like, here, man, try these baby wipes. And I had to shit real bad. So I had to do what I had to do. And we use the baby wipes, and I was like, fuck, I've been missing out.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, man, like over the years, what I've noticed, like what's manly and what's not is kind of changed over the years, especially with me. Like, I feel like I'm more mature for people my age. Like, I'm like the 25, like 30 area right now. And it's like, okay, what works for me obviously doesn't work for you. Like, we're all different in our own ways, but more importantly, like at the point, I'm sure you know this, you got to this point when you know what you want to do and why you're doing it. It really doesn't fucking matter what anybody
else say. Yeah, fuck them.
It doesn't matter.
To quote what's his name, Bad Luck Fale, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. Yes, absolutely. So we'll get to wrestling in a couple minutes. I just wanted to let you know what's going on with me in the tattoo world.
Yeah. You started your apprenticeship and everything. How is that going?
It's going pretty good. I'm not drawing or doing any tattoos yet. That's a bad business decision right there. I can't draw the same for my fucking life, but
you could trace though. I believe in you.
I appreciate that. So like when it comes to the tattoo shop, I wear a lot of different hats. They call me the tattoo doctor. I clean and sterilize all the tattoo tubes and implants and all the dirty shit.
You're essential.
Yeah, so I treat Monday. I work at nights during the weekdays, so I don't really watch Raw live until I get home. So
I have my reservations about that, but we'll get that in the wrestling talk.
Right. But for me, when it comes to like the tattoo shop, I'm like overseeing all the tattoos as well, and I have to answer the phone and scan all these release forms and all this shit. And the common thing I noticed, and a month of pandemic going on, we had an election going on too, and a bunch of other shit that 2020 was a year of a wake-up call. And I think that's probably the most positive thing that came out of last year, because it was necessary. Yeah. I always feel like something that may hurt you or may make you feel vulnerable or something that pulls something out of you that maybe you haven't felt in a while, and maybe you learn and grow from something. I think that's very important in life. So I look at it that way. You know, the police brutality. I have family members in Chicago who work in the police force, and I've lived in bad neighborhoods and a lot of stuff. And I think it always boggles down to one thing: a lack of self-awareness.
Yeah.
And empathy. That's what it is in a nutshell. And you know, going to bring a lighter note to this, I was looking at how we were going with the tattoo shop, because we do get like requests for like Trump stuff or Biden and stuff like that. You're gonna love this. I had this is in let's see, September. I had a guy in his 40s. Totally white guy, I could tell on the phone, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, "Yo, man, would you be interested in helping me do a Make America Great tattoo for $10?" Now, for disclosure, shop minimum for tattoos at Infamous Studios
is usually 50, right?
It's 60.
Oh, 60. Yeah, it makes sense. It's about the right. Yeah.
So minimum for shop tattoos are $60. I was like, I tell him what the price was, yada yada yada. He's like, "Is there not a presidential discount?"
Man, that's what 2020 has exposed. It exposed the people,
Nimrods,
these type of people, man. It's just, especially just with everything that happened in the Capitol, man. A lot of these people truly exposed themselves, man, and it's just like, you would think after so many years, so many centuries, so many decades, that this stuff would eventually die out, but it's not happening. Because one thing, you got those people that still hold on to those ideals or whatever, and they spread it to their fucking kids, and those kids spread it to their grandkids or whatever and everything. And that's shows you that just the importance of influence on children. You know, whatnot, your parents or your parent figure is the one that ultimately influences your life for the better or the worse and whatnot. So if that's all you're exposed to as a child, man, the shit festers and grows in your DNA, man. It's fucking horrible.
I know certain things in life are not real, but last year showed me that there are real life robots.
Yeah.
Like, there's some people that are just so stuck in their ways that they'll enable anything. I put this post out on Facebook yesterday. Nothing that relates to me. Sometimes I have like observations, and I like studying a lot of different quotes and learning about like communication and relationships, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm sure you see like some of the like motivational stuff I put like Instagram or whatever. A lot of times when I share those, they don't really pertain to what I'm going through at that time. I want it for people to like look at it and try to gain something out of it, because maybe they're down the dumpster about something. But like, I put it out, if you enable a liar, you'll enable anything. Mm-hmm. And that's what the root of is with people that support Donald Trump. They'll enable anything he does, anything he says, and it doesn't matter if they don't have, when you're tied out to one person, especially a jackass like that, mm-hmm. I guess ethics and human decency goes out the window.
I mean, I don't know. It's extreme too. It's just like, all right, you can like somebody, I mean, but it's just, if you lose, you lose. That's it. Then you move on. Because like right here, even in my neighborhood, they had a guy, I think lived a street or so over, or 2 streets over from me. He got this pickup truck, and he would have his American flag on one side, and he got his Trump flag on the other side. Trump lost. He took that flag down, and I ain't never seen it since. You know,
I was just so like taken aback by the guy's bravado with asking for a presidential discount, because I never heard of that in my entire life.
That's just,
and I was like, I told him straight up, you know, if there was a presidential discount, this ain't the motherfucker I'm giving it for. And I hung up on it.
I was like, you're not the president. You're not the president, sir.
Yeah. What do you mean he's the leader of our country? I was like, I don't give a fuck. Man, yeah, some people still act like tattoo shops are like McDonald's and you could just get away with certain requests for a certain amount of money. It just doesn't work that way. Like I always tell my uncle we should like buy the like mini tattoo stickers that you get at like a CVS or whatever.
Oh you wet them up and
yeah.
That's a good idea. You're like, yeah, what can I get for $10?
There you go.
Slide it across the desk.
Here's that little pin right there. Go knock your socks off. By the way, congrats to your Saints putting my Bears back into hibernation last week. I just wanted to mention that really.
Revenge is revenge.
I never felt more dejected having a perfectly trick play go down and the motherfucker just drops it right when it's right in his hand. You know what I'm talking about? Mitch had the fucking bomb to Wims and boop. Like
can't win them all, man. Can't win them all. Can't win them all, man.
Well,
like I said, that's karma. That was just payback from that year y'all screwed us out of some shit.
Oh yeah.
The state did not let that go, man. I'm serious. It's just I remember I went home to visit because I'm not in Louisiana. I'm from there, but I went home to visit and I went to GameStop and the new Madden was coming out for that following that.
Yeah.
And it had a picture of that blown play between Chicago and the Saints or whatever. And it's like, don't get screwed and reserve your copy of Madden now. I was like, God damn, this is so cool. And then I think I went somewhere to a restaurant and they got like this little chalkboard thing that they update the information for in there. And they put like the Wi-Fi password and all kind of stuff like that. And the Wi-Fi password there was like the Saints were screwed or something. And I was like, yeah, they don't want to let it go, man.
Well, what do you think about the Old People's Home game that we'll see tomorrow? Are you excited for it?
Who's that? Because like
Breeze and Brady.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing a meme for that. They like really aged them.
Old.
I don't know. Breeze is probably going to go down as the greatest quarterback in NFL history, but he is also on the Saints. Every time Drew Brees step on the field, it never fails. He's broken this record. He's broken this record. He's done this. He's done this. He's done this. And the Saints lose. I said, what the fuck? What is this? What is happening? But I do appreciate his loyalty to the team and whatnot and staying around. Because, I mean, they are the ones that gave him his shot, his resurgence, and allowed him to make all these milestones in the NFL and everything. So I believe that's kind of why he's still there. Because he could have left a long time ago, especially after that that pity Super Bowl win we got. And I could say that because I'm a lifelong Saints fan. So Katrina happened, then we win the Super Bowl. I get it. Same thing.
It took 4 years, but it happened.
Yeah. Then goddamn, okay. Nah, you know what? I had another similarity, but I ain't gonna bring that up. That's a topic for some people.
It kind of reminds me of Michael Jordan's like last accomplishments he had with the Wizards. Okay, yeah, Michael broke another record, but the team still
like the Wizards, though. Good for you, Michael Jordan, but your team sucks.
Yes. 5 years of random, man. How's it feel, man?
Oh boy. Yeah, it feels like something. Yeah, January 13th, I sat here in this very chair in front of this microphone and this camera, and I just kind of aired it all out. You talked earlier about all the riots and all the Black Lives Matter stuff or whatever. I've been kind of out of it since that stuff been starting and whatnot. I took a mental health break for about a week away from social media and everything like that around that time frame and whatnot. And I haven't been right ever since. I mean, I'm good mentally, but it's just far as it pertains to the podcast and stuff. It's just I was away from it. I didn't worry about it. I didn't do too much about it because I pre-record episodes. So I just had everything already auto-filled and aligned and everything. I didn't have to do shit with it. So I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't being active. I wasn't recording and everything. And it was kind of a break for me. And I was just like, I just sat there and I was like, why am I doing this shit? You know? And then the other day, what was it? I forgot. It was just my last episode, not the anniversary episode that's out now, but the one previous to that, the one that's going for this week with the Voices of Misery podcast. That was the first time that I talked to somebody to record an episode of this show since, I think, November.
Wow.
You know? So 2021 has been like officially like the first episode that I've recorded in months with, you know, somebody. I mean, I've been guest on other shows. I've been doing Wrestling is Trash here on the side because I kind of consider that, you know, just smoke sessions or whatever, bullshitting, shooting shit, you know, because it's like we only do Wrestling is Trash whenever the homies call. So my friend Nick or whatever, he'll text me like, hey man, we need to talk about this. I was like, all right, set up a time and we'll do it. And we just all come together and form Voltron and shit. And we just shoot the shit about wrestling. But other than that, I hadn't been promoting. I hadn't been doing shit. And I was just like, 5 years feel like a good run to put a pin in it. But when I did that recording not too long ago, whatever, I was like, I know why I'm doing this. I love this shit. You know, it's just, if I'm away from it too long and I get preoccupied with other shit, it's just like I start to doubt it and just like feel some type of way about it. You know, I'm just like, oh, I gotta do this shit. But as soon as that person pop up on the thing and I hit that record button, I'm just like, where have you been all my life? But 5 years. I didn't think I'd be doing it this long, and I am glad that I've done it. I would gladly do it all over again because of the podcast, because of, you know, doing this medium, I was able to meet people like you and Matt and a lot of other people that, you know, I don't see, you know, I think my life would be different had I not met these individuals and whatnot. So, I mean, I'm glad to be here still.
No, man. You honestly, for me, like, you should be really proud of yourself for what you've accomplished over the last 5 years. In March will be my 8th year in broadcasting.
You old bastard.
Yeah. You know what you've done and how you've like really like been consistent with it, even through like any valleys you've gone through personally or whatever, is really commendable, because some people will just toss it aside and it's whatever. But I think for the people that take the time to be a content creator and in that process, it makes you a better person too. I think that's really the charm of what comes with this type of field, because God knows what I'd be doing if I didn't go into broadcasting. I thought I was like so set in my ways of going to the music route when I was in school.
Yeah.
And what's like, my parents got divorced. That was like my lowest part of my life. And I didn't know what to do. You know, I could have done a lot of things. I could have made bad decisions. I could have felt sorry for myself, but I took a chance on myself as a shy kid at that time to give broadcasting a shot. And it's probably the best decision I made in my life, because it's gave me a purpose and a chance to, you know, to call myself out when I'm feeling down on myself. Or I treat this as therapy in a lot of ways. Like, this is my escape. This is my platform where I can say and do what I want. I can learn from my mistakes. I could try to help other people with their issues. That's why I talk a lot about depression and stuff on the show each week. Because the shit's real. It's not something that I run away or I'm ashamed of. It's something I deal with, but it is what it is. And what you've done to have 3 different type of shows, the number of interviews you've done, the fact that you got to partake in podcasting festivals and shit.
I'm missing that shit right now, man.
Yeah, buddies fly you out and stuff to go to like WrestleMania events and stuff. Like, you know, you should be really proud of yourself, man. And I always told you this since we've known each other, that I always put you at a high level as far as people that do this stuff and people that claim they're great because they're a professional broadcaster. I'm a professional broadcaster, and I can tell the good ones from the bad ones. And you always been good at your shit. And, you know, we had a fucking blast on the pipe bomb.
Yeah.
I think you agree. We were both very proud for how that show went and what it represented and stuff. And it's crazy how much like wrestling's brought people together, and in that process, you kind of realize how small this world is too.
Hell yeah! It's just like I can't understand it. It's just like I can go somewhere, and just it's almost like a bat signal or whatever. You can go out there and be like too sweet or something out loud, or just go woo, and motherfuckers be like woo. You like what the hell? I'm not alone. Or you just walking randomly somewhere, you see somebody wearing a wrestling shirt, and you're like, it's you. You're one of us.
The new trend I noticed is a lot of like Vince McMahon impressions that come out of nowhere, or just people walking down the street doing the strut or whatever.
We was just talking about this before we recorded properly. We was talking about having fun. I was like, have some fun, damn it. Just
God damn it, we're live.
It just comes out like that. And it's only a wrestling thing. I don't know too many other sports or other things that, yield just these reactions and emotions like that.
Man, we came up with some good, like, creative shit as far as like segments are concerned when it came to the pipe bomb. Something still ring true. I'm not afraid to say that somebody needs to go the fuck home and stay home, because that's just what it is. Jake Hager, you're still number one on that list.
Boy, a lot of people heralded his match with Wardlow as a good match, one of the best matches that he's done in a long time. I did not see it. I mean, I saw it like as in I watched it, but like, nah, I don't think that was
honestly it was a good match for Wardlow, not Jake.
Yeah, because Wardlow had to work with him.
Right, exactly.
And then I don't think he's been wrestling that long, has he, Wardlow?
For like 4 or 5 years. I know Justin LeBar knows him. They used to work with each other in a Pittsburgh independent promotion. He's from that area. So yeah, he's very talented. I think that dude's gonna
he has something, and he can go far if he really pursued it and just continue to evolve and change. I almost feel like he should be in Hager's spot, and Hager should just go focus on MMA and do that shit. But it is what it is. I mean, despite what we feel about him, as our taste or whatnot for a professional wrestler, Hager may not be it, but he is a veteran and he's been in the system for a long time, and he does have a lot of experience that he can pass on to him. That's why you see a lot of these matchups. Why is Jericho wrestling this guy? Because he's smartening the other guy up. Why is Hager wrestling this guy? Because he's giving him that big hoss mentality. He's showing him some new skills that he can add on and further progress the thing that is professional wrestling. It's
been almost, I don't know, maybe 2 years or so since we had like a real wrestling conversation and what our thoughts are on stuff. So this is gonna be interesting. All right. I don't know how much time you've had to like check out some segments or whatever for the shows that we've done over the last couple months or so or whatever, but me and Brett Carter came up with a segment called What the Hell is Wrong with AEW?
I've heard a little bit. Yeah.
So little pulling back the curtain behind the fourth wall, if you will, as CM Punk said. What the hell is wrong with AEW's kind of a spin-off to Go the Fuck Home and Stay the Fuck Home. Well, I do mention a couple things here and there to balance things out of matches or some stuff here and there that I do like about AEW. My stance has not changed since this promotion started, and I think they are sending mixed messages to their audience every single week.
I can agree with that.
And that's the thing that bothers me the most, is the fact that we're about a year and a half into this promotion and I still don't know what their identity is.
Yeah. It just depends on the wrestler, kind of.
Because I'm talking about the overall show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just depends on the wrestling at that point, because at some points in time, they pushing the new talent. At other points in time, it's just overpowered by, one of the established stars like a Cody or Kenny or something like that.
Yeah.
And then other times, I don't know what the fuck going on. It's just not so much the show itself. It's a presentation that we're not really accustomed to yet. Because even personally, Over the past couple of days, I've just been watching different wrestling promotions that I would have never watched edgewise. Like I watched the last DDT pay-per-view, the Japan show. I watched a little bit of Dragon Gate last night. I watched a little MLW yesterday as well. And it's just weird to watch, something that you're not really used to seeing all the time. Because I felt about these shows that I just mentioned the way I felt about New Japan when I first watched it. And I was like, this is garbage. And it's not because of the performances of the individuals, it's just the presentation. Because I was so used to these LED screens and these high def cameras, and the camera just going up and down when you motherfucker hit them with the chair and shit. I was used to that production value for so many years, decades even. And to go to something different, just visually and everything, conceptually, is jarring, and it kind of takes the wrestling element that you come for out of it. It's just, I'm like, oh man, this arena is foggy. This, these lights in the background are dark. ROH, other than certain individuals that I go to watch, because I watched the Final Battle pay-per-view, and I watched the Pure Wrestling tournament for the crown the new Pure champion. And that was a chore in itself. I did come away with some names that I want to try to keep an eye on. Jonathan Gresham was one of the ones that I went into the tournament wanting to see anyway, just because I've seen many clips of him on the internet. And I found this other guy that they got down there called, I forget his first name, but what make him stand out to me, and it's weird to say that, his last name, Yehai. His name is Yehai, his last name. And I was like, that is a cool ass fucking name. I'm gonna watch this guy now. And he's a good performer, but just the name Yehai or whatever, I was just like, yeah, I gotta watch this guy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Piggyback on that point. While I'm not like searching for like local shows like DDT or GCW or stuff like that, it's also a different experience for me with the amount of shows that I cover throughout the week.
Because you open in a can of worms for yourself, because you have a set amount of shows that you do now, and they shows do this amount of shows under them, and this brand do a whole bunch of shows under them. And then to go out and to venture in the other territories, you're bringing in more work essentially, which isn't a bad thing, but you're a one-man operation, so
yeah. Let's see, I'm up to like 14 articles a week on a non-pay-per-view week.
Fuck that couch.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Like my like thoughts in the business has really changed a lot since I got more into like making the transcripts and breaking down the shows and even writing dialogue. I always add this disclaimer for anybody that reads my website, ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com, by the way, if you want to go check it out. But I always say I'm not responsible for promo segments not making sense. The goal of the website is for it to be a point of reference for anybody who don't have the time to catch up to shows. That's why I have it out there. That's why I write down the promos. And also, I have writer's discretion to pick out the promos that I do not type out. For example, the Inner Circle's New Year's, wherever the fuck
resolution.
Like, I have certain discretion of nonsense that I'm just not going to type out. But like, it's really changed. Like, I can't really say what's my favorite style of wrestling or what's my favorite show. I think the closest thing I could say is that my favorite WWE show is NXT UK. That's my favorite show that they produce each week. And hell, like it's really cool that like 205 Live is like having Dusty Rhodes classic matches now. I think that's really cool. They've been doing some good stuff on that brand as well. But like, I love New Japan Strong that I do every Friday.
I don't know. Like I said, it falls under that same boat. It's just like it's jarring for me right now. I just got to get used to it. But what I do enjoy about that is just it's here. It's in America and whatnot. So they're making their way across. I mean, 2020 kind of stifled that because they was already making headway and they was already heading in that direction already, but it just kind of prolonged it now. For Wrestle Kingdom 15, they made announcements about having the show weekly on American television. So
Yeah.
you got to look forward to that. And I was thrilled to see Chris Bay, ACH, Leo Rush, and all them do the Super J Cup tournament and whatnot. So I'm excited for stuff like that, especially we talk about AEW and we don't know what their singular focus is, or just as a brand overall, but we can see the footnotes of greatness. We got Omega back and forward in Impact and whatnot, which is bringing eyes to Impact and bringing eyes back to AEW, as weird as that sounds, but it's building to something else. And I'm just interested to see what other relationships they are willing to play out on TV.
I think for me, when it comes to like Omega and stuff, for me, like, I can respect a couple of moves and sequences he does. He's like the least intimidating top guy I've ever seen in my life. Like,
yeah, that's like Finn Balor is to me. It's just like,
yeah,
really. I mean, I still don't like Finn Balor.
You don't like Finn Balor still?
No. But I mean, I don't discredit him for him as a performer. I mean, I use this analogy every time. Just because I don't like him doesn't mean he isn't good. Some people like broccoli, some people don't. I don't like broccoli. There you go.
Yeah, just because I think Dynamite's an unwatchable show doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it. But it's also the other thing. People will say something on Twitter and act like it's the gospel.
Yeah.
Like I never done that shit. I just can't do it. It's wasted energy. Don't tell me just because you didn't like the fact that Drew McIntyre beat your favorite doesn't mean he's a bad WWE champion. Like, give me a break.
And also, we live in an age of instant gratification. Everybody wants everything here and now, right now, and shit. That's why your storylines get rushed, because when they try to cater to you, they fuck a lot of shit up. And you're like, why the hell did they do that? Well, you wanted the shit now. Hence, why we had every first ever women's match in WWE within less than a year span of each other, because everybody kept blaming and bitching about it instead of building up some meaningful story. They just fired off everything right after another. They did the first women's pay-per-view. They did the first Hell in a Cell. They did the first Royal Rumble. They did the first whatever TLC, I think, in the first ladder match, and they did all these first right back to back, and now they don't have to do that shit ever again if they don't want to, because you got what you wanted. You got your first this and you got your woman's that, and now you can shut the fuck up about it, and we don't have to do it again because we did it to please you, and now it's done.
Right. Let me go back.
Haven't had a women's pay-per-view since.
Right. Let me go back to the Impact AEW thing, because for me, I feel it's kind of like an indictment on AEW. Like, I'm happy that Impact's going to get more like traction out of this, but I think they're the only ones that are going to benefit out of this, because this is the company that's supposed to write the ills of WWE and be this next WCW. If you need to piggyback on Impact to get more buzz out of your company, what does that say about you guys?
Well, it's the thing of, their mission statement to change the world. And I just look at it as they are just in that instance doing something that WWE has never done or will ever do.
What? Have a basically
openly cross promoting with another company.
Rob, they're having a damn promotion booked by a website. If I wanted to see what a Dave Meltzer wrestling show is, that's what it is.
But I don't think nothing bad. I really just like the idea of it. I mean, I feel like, let's just say, if WWE did something like this, and they have done something like this, if WWE worked with another company, or they just kind of did something to an extent with another company, you already know WWE is about to buy that company out of or absorb them into their infrastructure to make WWE better. If I see this somewhere else, like with AEW doing this with Impact, I feel like instead of trying to make AEW better, they're trying to make the world outside of WWE better, because cross promoting does enrich the business. It gets more people jobs. It gets all this stuff, you know. So it's just like WWE. If I'm working with you, it all stays in house. AEW. If I work with you, it all benefits everyone outside of the house of WWE.
I think the thing that's like a turnoff for me with that is I know he's doing it
Booking.
Gaming. No, not the booking. It's like I know he's playing a character with this, but the Tony Khan paid ads.
That shit is funny, man. I don't care what you say. That shit's funny, man. I mean, it's just, you know, it's probably his delivery. If you had somebody with a little more charisma or something like that to, you know, to pull it off or whatever, it might be that much better. But I rather enjoy those. It's just like,
well, I mean, it's cool. Rick Moranis is running a wrestling company. That's like awesome.
And that's sad what happened to Rick Moranis.
That was fun.
He stepped away from film and all this media stuff and whatever, and he did one itty bitty small ass commercial with Ryan Reynolds. Then he get mugged. I was like, he's like, this is why I stayed away.
Right. Well, all right. Really quick. What did you think about Wrestle Kingdom? What did you like or didn't like?
Oh man, I like both nights. I was confused prior to, because, you know, Kota Ibushi won the G1, so he won the briefcase that gives him the right to face the champion at Wrestle Kingdom. I watched the whole G1, thoroughly enjoyed it. Thought Kota Ibushi was the call if they were going to pull the trigger. I thought that was a great call. Yeah. But, you know, I've talked about this on Wrestling is Trash and other shows. It's just like they were so up and down on Kota Ibushi because he was not a homegrown New Japan talent. He made his way outside, then came in. And, you know, he left to go to WWE and do that CWC shit. He did some European stuff or whatever. He did wrestling his way outside of the confines of the New Japan system. So whenever he achieved, even Jay White put that in his promo, which is fucking smart. Anytime he achieved any type of success or whatever, bow, the legs just get cut out right from under him or whatever. He won the G1 the previous year, didn't win the big one. He had a couple of other opportunities to get the championship, and, you know, in some other key events, they pulled the rug out from under him. Because what we not realizing outside of the storyline, this is the company's decision not to put gold on this man who is a phenomenal performer. At 38 years old, looked like he got damn 23, and now here I am 38, and I just look like a bag of potatoes and shit, and I'm just like, wow. What the fuck, right? And to finally see him, to see the company putting trust enough in this guy to put the straps on him, it was a beautiful moment, man. I was just like, wow, this is fucking amazing. And I got to witness this shit. And Jay White,
my guy,
that dude, man, he is that dude. And I would have been upset had he won, but at the same time, I wouldn't have been upset. I was like, because it's a good call either way, because it fits his fucking character. From the day that he stepped back into New Japan after he did his excursion and all that stuff or whatever, he's been the guy to me. The only thing that I recommended, and he did it, was I was like, dude, you need some hair on your face, because that daggone freaking, I don't know, crybaby Johnny Depp look that he had going on or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
it wasn't doing it for me. He truly looked like a 12-year-old with his big brother's coat on and shit, you know. But Jay White, despite what other people may think, he is a phenomenal performer, and he's done it in such a short time, and he's done everything that he said in his promos, which I like the continuity, I like the consistency. He's like, he didn't want to join a faction when he first got there, because he was like, what's the point? You know, it's only going to hinder me from my aspirations and whatnot. And then he got with Chaos only out of self-preservation and to tear it down to an extent from the inside. Because while he was in Chaos, his issue was with why does not Chaos members challenge the champion, which was Okada at the time. You know, I want to be a champion, and are we supposed to just fall in line because we all under the same camp? So he broke down Chaos within there, and, you know, he caused a lot of dissension. And then when he had the opportunity to take over Bullet Club, he weaseled his way in there and he did all that shit. Then the icing on the cake for that was when he got Gato in his corner and he made him betray Okada, which initially when he got into chaos, that was his major qualm anyway, was Okada. So it was full circle. He's like, I had an issue here, I got here. Then, oh man, it's just like I can go on and on and on about Jay White, and it's just like his fate now. He can stay even New Japan, or he can go somewhere else. But I feel like, honestly, he's achieved everything that he could achieve there in New Japan. He's already been the IWGP Intercontinental Champion, IWGP United States Champion, IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. So, I mean, there's not too much for him to do unless he has tag team aspirations, which I highly doubt. And I don't think there's not much more story you can tell with Jay White in New Japan.
I'm very curious to see where things are going to go with him. I'll be honest with you, I'm not like the biggest fan of the double champion thing. It's fine in certain cases, but sometimes it's not. But I really thought they did a great job telling that story from both nights. The match with the Naito was really good with the Bushi, and then like you mentioned, that 48-minute
the longest main event bout in Tokyo Dome history.
I thought Kevin Kelly's calls for both of those matches were just absolutely supreme, man. That guy is my favorite play-by-play guy right now. He's just awesome at what he does. You know, it was obviously a different
call. Get me every time, man.
Yeah.
No.
It was a different vibe this year, obviously, because the pandemic, there wasn't as a lot of matches as you usually get on these type of Wrestle Kingdom shows. I kind of felt bad for my guy Ishii just being on the fucking Battle Royal. I don't even know what that was.
It's only because of the times we living in, and they suffering from the same thing that WWE is suffering from in other companies to an extent. It's just you only have an approved amount of talent and whatnot, because some people are stuck in other countries, or some people just can't come in because of COVID concerns and all kind of other crap. So you stuck recycling these same matches and these same people over and over and over again.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I wanted to bring up. It's like, for me, I can't view wrestling like booking wise right now as if you're booking a show for 20,000 people, because 20,000 motherfuckers are not there. So
it's like, in the case of New Japan, but
well, yeah, because they're smart and we're not. That's why.
Exactly. You know,
but still, it's like ever since the whole pandemic started, it's like, okay, I wanted to like take a step back and appreciate like the art of the matches now, instead of just worrying about storylines and things that are going to connect for a 20,000 crowd, because they're not there anymore. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, when it comes to storylines and whatever booking decisions go down, that's so subjective at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see the art of who's really good and who's not, as far as who could go in the ring, because that's wrestling. That's the ultimate story is in that ring. And to see what guys like Drew McIntyre's done during this time period as a champion. Randy Orton, obviously, he's had the best year of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, some people don't, but what do you think about the Tribal Chief and what he's doing so far?
You know, it's kind of satisfying, because I'm a guy, and you know it, that's always liked Roman Reigns, but I hated the people who hated him, because some of them was just hating him just to hating him, and some people it's just like the whole John Cena sucks thing. You're only saying it because that's a trope in the crowd. It's just like saying the woo or all this other. I think it's highly fucking disrespectful to tell Kurt Angle he sucks, because he does not suck, you know. And I know it's just like it's the appeal of the thing. It's the trope. It's the thing you do when you go to wrestling shows. But I think that's highly fucking disrespectful. It's stupid. For the time when it was happening, you know, in live action back in those times, I mean, it made sense. But here we are years later, we're way past that shit. Over a decade, possibly. And it's just like, you still doing this shit. It's fucking stupid. John Cena proved that he doesn't fucking suck. You know, he's just a different type of professional wrestler, and he had to, you know, make do with what he has been given, you know. And he proved that he's not a shitty wrestler. And here we are still saying all these years later, John Cena sucks. Or, see, let's go Cena. This is fucking stupid.
It is stupid.
Fucking respectful.
Yeah, I felt bad for Kurt. I was in Orlando at the dump when he got into the Hall of Fame, Dumping World Stadium, as you call it. They're chanting, "You suck." I'm like, come on, man. It's the Hall of
This
Fame.
dude is getting inducted into the fucking a wrestling Hall of Fame, and you talking about you suck. It's fucking stupid, people.
Mm.
But
I was gonna say, like, I'm really happy for Roman and seeing like the different layers of how he goes as far as cutting his promos and stuff.
The only thing that I wish, well, not wish, but the only thing that I wonder what would have been different if Jimmy wasn't injured. That's the one that's right. How this whole thing would be. Would he have both of them at his side, kind of doing the same thing? Would he have wrestled both of them? Or, that's the only thing that I'm interested in. But everything as is right now is pretty good.
Yeah, this is the perfect time for towns to like maximize their TV time, and I think
exactly.
I think Jey Uso's done that in a lot of ways over the last couple months. Hell, even I was watching last night with his promo for his match with Nakamura, and he's just cutting his promo, and it's like it doesn't feel like I'm hearing a mid card guy. Here's Jey Uso, he's talking this shit, he's doing his like sling, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. He's had main event opportunities now since he's been on his own, and COVID shit, and despite the way Nakamura is booked, Nakamura is a main eventer, So, I mean, he has to step up his game to meet that of Nakamura's, even though, on WWE television, it doesn't look like that.
One last thing on WWE before we get out of here. What do you think is next for Seth Rollins when he comes back?
That's hard to say, man. He's another guy that's achieved everything that you can achieve in WWE. NXT champion, Intercontinental champion, United States champion, Universal champion, world champion, tag team champion. Just he's done it all. Money in the Bank winner. I don't think he's won a Royal Rumble, so there's an accolade that he can achieve. But I mean, it pretty much depends on him here on out now, man. It's just like he got a family now. I know his wife is going to want to come back and probably wrestle some more, but how long is that going to last? Because I mean, look, we got examples as far as the Bellas go. They were putting, especially Nikki, they were putting on some of the best performances as professional wrestlers to date. When they were here, then they got pregnant, and not saying it's a bad thing, but they got pregnant and everything, and they just kind of fell away from the business and just worried about family things, which eventually is going to happen with Becky. So, who's to say how long they got left, So it's just in his hands right now. I don't think he'll ever go to another company from this point forward, but it just depends on him how long he stays and how relevant he can keep himself.
I gotta tell you, one of my favorite parts of Raw right now is the Hurt Business. In my opinion, it's the best group of wrestling right now.
Man. MVP is already my dude.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Yes. And they have atoned for the atrocities that they have committed against MVP. And I'm only speaking of one in particular.
Okay.
When they had the first Raw, like the Raw Legends night thing or whatever, when all those guys came back, like the first time they ever did that, MVP was there, but he was backstage with freaking APA doing the little card game, and the only thing he did was like bowling, and I was like, you motherfuckers.
Raw 25, I remember.
Yeah, Raw 25 or whatever the fuck it was. I was like, this is how you going to use MV motherfucking P? Right. This is what you're going to do with him? And I was like, oh, fuck you guys. Fuck all y'all. And I was fortunate enough to be at the Royal Rumble here in Houston, Texas, at the freaking Minute Maid Park. I was sitting there. I was this is the freaking entranceway. I'm over here in the crowd, and I'm coming. I was like, oh, MVP. So I got to see my man live in my home, well, not my hometown, but where I live, and it's just it blew my motherfucking mind. Then to see Edge come back that night as well.
How was that?
Roof. Because Minute Maid Park, they have the retracting roof.
Right.
If they would have opened that thing up, just all that sound would have caused all kind of wrecks and collisions right there on the freaking highway and everything. Because that shit was thunderous. It was louder than any pyro that they could damn put in that arena that night. It was just wow. I mean, I don't have the words to describe feelings, man. And then you can see it in his face too. Whenever you go back and watch that moment or whatnot, he was just like, "Yeah, I'm here." Ooh, sad emotions. It was fucking amazing. And then he hit all them spears. It was just fucking awesome.
That was one of the
best Royal Rumble return ever.
Oh yeah, one of the best returns and one of the best Rumble matches of all time.
No, I was kind of pissed about the Brock shit.
You didn't like that?
but as it progressed, I mean, it got a little bit better because I mean, he threw out MVP, which I was mad about. I was like, he just came back. Why you gonna do this? So I was kind of mad about that. But I mean, it progressively got better once they started weeding through all the other shit. The interaction with Keith Lee, that was fucking funny as hell. He was like, "Oh, you a big boy," So all that was cool.
Yeah, we got a lot of wrestling that never stops. I mean, there's a pay-per-view tonight. I gotta type out Hard to Kill.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. I'm gonna watch it. Whether I do it legally or illegally, that's yet to be seen or to be dispelled. But
by the way, thoughts go out to Alex Shelley. They mentioned the reason why he's not on the pay-per-view tonight, but Moose is replacing Alex Shelley in the 6-man tag with Omega and the Good Brothers. So it'll be Rich Swann, Moose, and Chris Sabin, which in a way is another bridgeway to Rich Swann and Moose's.
Because of the beef they got together, and it's your champions up front with the But what, did he get hurt or something? Or?
They said unavoidable circumstances or something like that. I don't know if it's a personal issue, but anyway,
I mean, it can be a number of things, but if they, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but God, Eddie Edwards and Sam Callahan, a barbed wire massacre match. I don't know what's gonna happen there.
I don't get it with the Callahan guy.
Well, think about how having a barbed wire match with nothing there. Like, you can hear Josh Matthews' bad commentary.
Well, he's gone now. He's gone now. So
I saw that. That made my year.
Dude, I talked about how things look aesthetically and everything, how it's kind of jarring watching all these different promotions. I went to watch Genesis or whatever, and they could have had some great matches. I think the only thing that I enjoyed was Jazz and Jordan Grace.
That was good match.
And Willie Mack and Moose. And those are the two things that I was invested in, but outside of those two things, I was just kind of like blah on it because of Madison Rayne and fucking Josh Matthews. And I was just like, I don't know what it was like. It sounded like he was doing an infomercial for professional wrestling. I was like, you just don't have it, dude. Hopefully your skills are better suited for the backstage area where he is going. But I mean, this commentary thing is not your thing. I mean, even when he was
he was giving away finishes before the final 3 count.
I don't think that was his fault. I think it's
he does it all the time, though.
I thought it was like a syncing issue because they're not really there live doing the commentary or whatnot. I thought it was just like a bad syncing issue. So it's just like their tracking is off versus what's being shown on TV. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I mean, it's still shitty. But,
I got a soft spot for Madison Rayne, but that's waterfall reasons.
But we're going to have D'Lo Brown and Matt Striker, which everybody was like, oh, Matt Striker. Matt Striker is fucking awesome. I don't give a fuck what nobody say,
man. I've had the pleasure of meeting and interviewing Matt Striker before. That guy is the man.
Yeah,
tell me I miss Lucha Underground a lot.
Yeah.
He was the voice of that show, and he did a great job with that brand.
And then
D'Lo.
D'Lo, you gonna be sitting on commentary like, oh God, he did it. But speaking of Lucha Underground, I still have yet to see season 3. I got a means to watch it now, so I'm gonna probably go back and binge all that. But Mil Mortis just made his debut in the MLW, and I got to see that the other night. I was like, wow, it's just he doesn't seem right outside of the Lucha Underground arena. Just that whole aesthetic surrounding the characters, how they did all that made it actually feel like a television show more than a wrestling program. But to see him outside of that thing is just like weird,
I gotta tell you, man, they had the coolest gimmick matches out of any promotion over the last 10 years. Grave Consequences. This ain't the match where they can just fight all over the motherfucker and they're going through walls and shit.
Yeah. Freaking Angelico just fucking flying up to the office and everything.
What happens when they're interesting.
Man. But that's the thing about what was unique about Lucha Underground, though. They treated it like a television show, so they had the added benefit of editing.
Yes,
they did a lot of editing on that show, and you wouldn't think it because they did a decent job. Because there's some parts that you can tell, some parts where they had to do spots over again, and where they cut things out. They added sound to the kicks and everything. So our motherfuckers slap their thigh and everything. I mean, that's a given. We all know that. But they were amplifying those sounds to make it sound more just dangerous and hard and everything. So they was adding their own SmackDown pops, pretty much. So, but it was still a great show. It was because I was invested in the whole storyline throughout the series rather than the wrestling was just kind of like the icing on the cake.
You remember Pentagon and Vampiro?
Yeah, that whole thing was just like, wow, that was his master.
What was their big show? The Ultimate Lucha? That was WrestleMania?
Yeah, Ultima Lucha.
Yeah.
Ultima Lucha Dos and Thrace.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they did it at the end of each season.
Katrina, just magnificent waterfall and a good manager, too. She was really good at what she did, too.
Yeah, that one girl kind of reminds me of her in MLW. The one that...
Oh, Selena.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of her. It's just like her light.
Oh, did you see her in a toot going back and forth on Twitter the other day? I don't know if that's like storyline or whatever, but if it is, it's pretty funny with her. Her and Miss Alicia too. They're talking the shits on the Twitter.
I missed that. Probably setting up for an interview. You know how they do.
Yeah, I'll give MLW credit. They do use social media well into blending into their show. So shout out to Corey and everybody. They're doing some good stuff there. I gotta tell you,
you should do. That's what you should do, man. Especially the age that we live in now. I don't think a lot of companies are embracing the tools that they have right now, like especially social media and whatnot.
I gotta tell you, man, Leo Rush's song that he used for the Super J Cup in New Japan, I digged it, man. That song, I don't know the name of that. Somebody needs to send that to me. But
it might have been something he wrote himself.
Oh, he's talented. I wouldn't doubt it. That dude's fucking awesome.
Because I think the joint that he used in MLW or whatever was from an album that he got coming out. Or whatever. So, and that's just even another thing too, is just the whole social media thing. We know the thing about WWE and the third party shit and whatnot, but MLW is kind of doing it from what I've saw, because I haven't seen a lot of it. Leo Rush just cut a promo about being the middleweight champion and everything, and the challenges that are coming up and whatnot. And as his music was playing in the background for the promo, they had like a little bumper down on the lower third of the screen showing the album that it come from and, where you can get it and all kinds of stuff. That shit like that is cool,
My favorite part of MLW is Contra. This is like the...
Yeah, I'm just getting into it or whatever. I've only seen a couple of episodes. And then hopefully, if everything pans out, I have a future guest that's on MLW, your boy Zenchi.
Oh, Zenchi.
Yeah, so he should be on the show here.
Very nice.
Pretty soon, so I get to talk to him. So, yeah.
I was gonna say for our main event this week, pal, we gotta update our list.
Oh, does my music work? Let's see.
Our waterfall list.
That's sexy time music.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Better regular instrumental, better this for a song.
It's just an instrumental that I found somewhere.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Is it too loud? Because I can turn it
No,
down.
it's good. No, it's perfectly fine. It's cracking me up. I gotta say, Taya Valkyrie is on my list. I had her off for a while, but she's definitely elevated, if you will.
I think I enjoyed her better in Lucha Underground as well, or whatnot. I mean, definitely time has taken its toll. I'm not saying it in a negative way. She's got a little thick and whatnot, which is nothing wrong with that. But I kind of prefer the version of her in Lucha Underground a little bit better. But it does not detract from putting her on the list.
How about you, my man?
Oh, speaking of tires, Taya Conti. Boy. They know what they're doing over there. Because they put her and Anna Jay together, and then they, I think she had that match with Serena Deeb here for the New Year's Smash joint. Whatnot. That cameraman was properly paced the whole time. He knew what the fuck.
You could tell. Big time, yeah.
Them cheeks just bubbly bub.
Her freaking that thing she was wearing on her legs.
Oh yeah. But I mean, outside of visually stimulating and pleasing, I believe she's improved a hell of a lot from when I've seen her in the women's tournament and the little stint that she had in NXT. So that's a plus. And I like the freaking judo throws that she do. The Tres Amigos. She said that's a version of it.
She's very good in the ring. I'm really excited for her future. You know what? I'm going to add her cohort to my list.
Yes.
Speaking of improvement and stuff, she has it.
Yeah.
In every facet. The promos she does on BT are pretty funny too. I
haven't watched that in a while. I need to catch up.
I love how she carries herself.
I like how she carries herself too.
Yeah, absolutely. I call that pierogi waterfall. Some people.
Where's the boing button? I forgot to put that on here.
Some people that know me know that like pierogi is one of my favorite like side dishes, like appetizer wise. I get pierogies any day of the week, and Anna Jake fits in that category. She's definitely wife material. So I add her to the list. Also, since we're talking about AEW, let's add Penelope Ford as an honorable mention as well.
Yeah, honorable mention. I mean, I'm not too sold on Penelope.
Yeah, she wouldn't be on the top of my list, but she's like honorable, like one night stand.
Yeah, I think she in ring wise, she still needs some refinement and whatnot. She has a great amount of athleticism, but it's just she's rough around the edges. I think she just needs to kind of work on that a little bit more. And she supposedly getting married or married to a wrestler who's pretty decent. So I mean, they should make some fairly better moves together and whatnot. I don't know.
Are you talking about Ty's new Roman font, Kit Sabian?
I don't know what happened with him, man. It's just like right out the gate when they first started, he was I thought he was pretty good, but just now that he's saddled with Penelope and doing the thing with Miro, it's just like it's like blah. It's just like ugh,
The rise and fall of Miro.
He just don't. That's
another thing with AEW though. All these like guys who think they're being hired scenes because they don't have creative restrictions anymore. Dude, they're in the same fucking place that they were in WWE.
Yeah, because
Sean Spears.
What the fuck is that? I don't know, man. It's just you truly see the value in somebody whenever they go somewhere else and whatnot. Because what we were presented with Sean Spears in WWE, you think he could have been an Intercontinental Champion or something like that to that effect. Then he get to AEW and it's just like, oh, this is what you wanted to do? That mohawk is pretty cool, guy. But I don't know, man. It is yet to be seen and whatnot. Because what AEW suffers from is you got the people that essentially kind of run the show, a part of the show. So that doesn't leave much space for anybody else coming in or newer talent. You got Kenny Omega, who's also an EVP or whatever the fuck, who is in the main event with the fucking title. Then you got Cody, who was always there, kind of like a Triple H-esque role or whatever, but not really. So he's always there. Then you got the Young Bucks who want to wrestle, but they're also running shit behind the scenes as well. So, I mean, you have that stigma with AEW that, like, you know, these guys run the show and they're in the show. So it kind of like, because freaking Eddie Kingston could have won a title and it could have been perfectly fine. Freaking hell, Lance Archer could have won the fucking championship and they could have been fine. But I can understand them what they did with Moxley, because Moxley is hot, so that makes sense. Jericho, he's just bringing some fame and acclaim to the show.
He needs to go home.
He does. He does, and I truly believe after his contract is done with AEW, he'll be done. He might go back to WWE and do like some cameo shit or whatever, or maybe even get inducted. Yeah. But I truly believe that this is the end for Jericho, and this is why he's doing a lot of the shit that he's doing now here in AEW. Because I mean, it looked like he's having fun. You're just doing whatever the fuck you want to do. Because I really feel that this is the last hurrah for Chris Jericho, which it should be.
Oh, not just the fact of him and MJF having the worst segment in wrestling last year, but
you talking about the dancing joint?
Yeah, that's
hey man, that was highly acclaimed. That was highly touted.
Embarrassing. Just as embarrassing as FCR having a competitive match with Marco Stunt the other night.
hey man, broccoli. Some people like broccoli, some people don't. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
I think Jericho does bring value to the product. He does bring eyes. But me as a fan, me as a watcher and a consumer, I'm just like, go the fuck home, dude. It's time. It's time. But I'll caveat this with everything that I always say. I talk shit about The Undertaker. I talk shit about Goldberg and a lot of those other people that I feel that shouldn't be in the product. That's just my personal opinion. That's just one man. That's just the way I think. But from the human aspect of it, if you can make a freaking financial gain for yourself and your family, you can provide and, just set yourself up for success personally and financially, do it. If you feel like you can do it physically, do it. I will not fault a man for taking care of himself and his family. But me as a watcher, as a consumer, fuck you. I don't give a shit what you got going on personally. Get your punk ass off my goddamn TV. Give me something I want to see.
Yeah, me too. So it's kind of like the same thing with Sting. Like, go home. You're doing the same thing every week, just walking down with snow. Awesome.
Yeah, and it just goes to the point, and him as a man, and you feel like he can still do it, and he can still bring value, which I think, he will, depending on where they go with him and Darby Allin, which I think that should be the thing. And even just him being there, not even as an on-screen capacity, he does bring value to the product because he has the knowledge, he has the experience and everything, and he can pass that on backstage and just mentor. I like that aspect of having people come back. But that aspect of them coming back in the ring, nah, fuck that shit.
Fuck that. Really quick, I'll go back to Waterfall stuff really quick. There's a lot of WWE talent we've mentioned over the years, so I can't really update it in that way. I mean,
Xia Li.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say that Scarlet Bordeaux is like Lake Michigan waterfall, but
boy, and that's another one. Them cameramen knew what the fuck they were doing, and she know what she doing. She's smart as hell too. She know the ass sets that she bring to the table and whatnot, and that's why she is better suited as a valet rather than a professional wrestler. I haven't seen so much of her as a wrestler, but I have seen that ass, and she know what she doing with it or whatnot. The smoke show and the impact, and just being the arm piece and the mouthpiece for Killer Cross. She knows her place. I mean, if you love wrestling and you want to wrestle, I mean, that's one thing, but I think her value is more suited where it is now. And she's good at it. She's good at it. And that ass though. When she walked around your boy Finn Balor or whatever, she knew what the hell she was doing. She didn't even do like a continuous walk around him. She walked in front of him, stopped, ass at the camera, and then walked around. I was like, you know what you doing. Yeah,
I had a couple from ex UK that stood out to me, like Aoife Valkyrie, who's one of the new like female stars they got. She's
like Killer Kelly.
Oh, she's still number one on my list, and that no, there's something else to be said there. She's fantastic. Yeah, Aoife Valkyrie. I don't mind Kaylee Ray in a way too. She's all right.
She's been champion for a while, hadn't she?
Yeah, she has a title match with Ginny. Speaking of that, Ginny, they have a big match next week for the NXT UK Women's title. By the way, Walter and A-Kid had a fucking barn burner.
I didn't see the whole match. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. But those clips that I did see, fuck. That clothesline, the goddamn, oh man, the dude head hit the mat. Like, you know how they do the shit, the spots where they hit him with the arm and, you know, the momentum's supposed to carry him over. They do like a twisty, turny, flippy thing or whatever. That motherfucker did not make a full rotation. He just said, straight to the ground.
Right.
Lawn dart, Rey Mysterio into the side of the trailer type deal.
Walter, to me, is definitely today's Andre. The way he carries himself in the ring and the way he's presented too, in a lot of ways, makes me think of that. But Walter's the man.
What I want to see ran back is him in Dragunov.
Oh, that was great.
That was great. The whole story leading up to that whole match was awesome. And Dragunov could have pulled it off. They could have pulled the trigger on that, and I would not have been mad. That was a great match. And it's just, I like Dragunov. And then I told you, you know, how I feel about Finn Balor. But
what do you think about his protege, Jordan
Devlin?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man. Complete 180 on that dude. Soon as I seen him in the Cruiserweight Classic, I was like, this is Finn Balor light. I was like, then they said, oh, he was trained by Finn Balor. This makes fucking sense. Yes, this exactly makes sense. The same boots and kick pads, the same type of cut trunks, just the way he kind of carried himself at the time was very Finn Balor alike. And I was just like, that's why I did not like him right off the bat. But, you know, he tweaked himself. And I went back previous to the CWC and seen some of his stuff that he did elsewhere. And that was the promo work and some of the promo packages that I've seen with him and other competitors. It kind of turned me on him a little bit. But then I started seeing him performing all the way up until he got that Cruiserweight Championship here in Houston, Texas, when they did the Worlds Collide thing or whatever. I was there live for the
show.
Yeah. And I was not going to go to that show, but not to take away from Jordan Devlin, but I was not going to go to that show at all. I was just content with going to the Royal Rumble or whatever. And I was like, I'm not going to this shit. I ain't going to spend no money on this or whatever. But when they announced Finn Balor versus Dragunov, that was the match that made me buy a ticket and go to that show. Not because so much of Finn Balor, because I wanted to see Dragunov, you know. But I talk like Finn Balor is not one of my favorite, because he's not, but he does produce fairly decent matches with other opponents. He's had great matches with Johnny Gargano, which I kind of starting to feel a certain type of way about Gargano. But you put Finn Balor in that match with anybody, it's going to be a fairly decent match, regardless of how I feel about him. It's going to be a good match. And I wanted to see what type of match he was going to have with Dragunov, and that's why I went to that show. But Jordan Devlin, man, what really cemented it for me is his promo stuff when he turned heel, but that damn fucking side Saito suplex shit that he do when he grab him up by the wrist and yank him up, and boy, that sold the fuck out of me. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, the devil inside. That's what they call that. Devil inside. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff from NXT UK. I love Noam Dar as a heel. That guy's fucking hilarious. Ben Carter to getting snatched up from AEW is a really good get. And watch out for Rampage Brown. That's the guy that could
I heard of him.
Walter down the road as well. But really quick, Rob, tell the good brothers and sisters where they can find your lovely work, my man.
Word. I am the host of the Random Rounds with Rob podcast. It's a variety show. Not really. I just talk to random people. And you can find that on various social media platforms, to include Twitter at 3R Show, Instagram at the 3R Show, Facebook, and twitch.tv/3R Show. You can find me hosting my other side show on Twitch called The Wrestling is Trash. Not the wrestling. I cut the off there. Wrestling is trash, you know. So I have recently dubbed it the People's Podcast, because you don't have to, it's not a weekly format. It's just, if I know people and you want a platform to talk about wrestling and get some shit about wrestling off your chest, Wrestling is Trash is the place for you. I mean, you just tell me when you got the time available, we'll fire it up and we'll sit there and we'll shoot the shit about professional wrestling, because that's what it's all about. Get it all out in the open. So Wrestling is Trash on social media as well. Wrestling Be Trash on Twitter. Wrestling is Trash on Instagram. I don't post there a lot because I don't do the show frequently, but you can find all 62 episodes on randomrob.com. It's over there on my banner on the wall over there. I had to blank it out because it was an old website and I just taped over it. But randomrob.com, you can find anything pertaining to me and all my shows.
Make sure to bookmark randomrob.com and make sure to subscribe to his shows. I was going to mention this to you before we head out of here. I was talking to Matt, and it looks like probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to cook up that reunion show.
Word.
So, yes.
I will have all the appropriate sounds by then.
It's long overdue, but that podcast may be the podcast of the year once it's done recording. So that should be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah,
folks, you can follow me on Twitter if you like at the Hoots Podcast. I'm at Joshie Lopez 94 on Instagram. I feel like I'm turning into like the wrestling media auditor. No, auditor. That's what you call it. There you go. The auditor.
You're the wrestling stenographer.
Yeah, I'm a stenographer, but I'm also the guy who fact checks bullshit that's reported out there as well. Kind of like Brian Alvarez, everything that comes out of his mouth. But I do that on social media, and also I host a Hoops podcast. You check out all the podcasting platforms, and
you're like at almost 250 right now. Are you past that yet?
I just did 240 on Thursday.
Yeah, so. You getting up there, dude.
Yeah, time to go by fast, my man. Yeah, but we got a lot of fun stuff on the horizon. I'll definitely be coming on Wrestling is Trash sooner than later. I definitely got more time now since I'm in my new place now. So,
yeah, celebration.
We're gonna make it happen, and we're gonna make it happen. But Rob, man, thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun today, and it was really cool to catch up with you, good brother. And we'll do this again soon, all right?
Yeah, I'm here for that.
All right, folks, that's B-Rob. I'm Joshie. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to y'all later. Yes, sir.
Rise, motherfucker.